Welcome to the Bucs Gambling Show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 1 upsets to bet. Also, for the viewers, you guys have been asking. The over-under video will be up Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Let's get this money. I'm excited for this year. Thank you for all the comments. Let's get to the first game. We got the Washington no-names at the Tampa Bay Bucs. Commanders plus 3.5. I got the Commanders to win in the cover. And I get it. It goes against all fundamentals. You got a rookie quarterback on the road. You got a new head coach on the road. And I get it. I like the way Tampa Bay finished the year last year. But am I the only one that thinks there is going to be some regression? Am I the only one that thinks we see a lot of the old Baker Mayfield? And I don't think people are making enough of the Tampa Bay offensive coordinator situation. No Canales, and yes, you have pieces on offense. But I think this Commanders defense, specifically in the front seven, can handle the Bucs run game. So it's going to be on Baker's arm, and I'm curious to see what he does on the other side of the football. I like Cliff Kingsbury as offensive coordinator for the Commanders. And I know it didn't finish well with the Cardinals. We all remember how that finished. It was an absolute dumpster fire. But I do think he can scheme and put Jaden Daniels in good positions to win the game. Now, when you talk about the Bucs, you have to talk about Godwin and Mike Evans. We know that's potent. We know that's consistent. But I think Terry McLaurin has a big game. And I'm looking at his player props ready to pounce. And when I look at this matchup, I see a Bucs defense that's overrated. I see a guy in Todd Bowles who, yes, he's going to put out an average team on the field, but I don't think he brings people to that next level. And I have to say, this Bucs home field advantage, it's one of the worst in the NFL. It is almost like going on vacation when you win there. Anyone who's been to that stadium, you know what it is. It's almost like a funeral. There's no noise. There's no home field advantage. And I think Jaden Daniels goes for over 80 rushing yards. I think he pulls some shit. Now, you do worry because we know Todd Bowles always has zone blitzes ready to go. But the Commanders can run the ball, which I think they'll be able to. I think they'll win this game, and I think Cliff Kingsbury is a big part of it. Next game, we got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Raiders plus 3. Your boy was stewing yesterday. We do the spread video. 12 hours later, this goes from 3.5 to plus 3. I think the Raiders can win this game outright. And I did find that line movement rather annoying. It was 3.5 for 5 months. Your boy makes a video. It's down to 3. But let's talk about this game. And let's leave the Raiders to one side here. I want to talk about the Chargers. I get the optimism. I get bringing Harbaugh in is bringing in a B+, A- coach in this league. I am not sleeping on that. I am not discounting that. But one thing people seem to collectively forget is the fact that Brandon Staley absolutely decimated this team, whether it be physically, schematically, but also look at this team. Look at this defense. They are sparse on talent. And I know we all want to point to the wide receiver position, and we know how bad that is. But look at this defense. And I think this game is going to be ugly. This one is where you hide the kids, hide the wife. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be early 90s football. And if you put me in that situation, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they have the more physical offensive line. Now, I know with the Chargers, you got All and Slater as the bookends, but how good are they in the interior? And who the hell's going to block Christian Wilkins? And we don't even need to get into Max Crosby. So when I'm looking at this game, I do feel like Minshew is overrated, and people like him, and no one's ever seen him play in Jacksonville. He's always that guy who he has a good personality. People overrate, but I don't think he's going to have to do too much this game. I think we're going to see a lot of running the ball. We're going to see a lot of play action. And when you look at the outside receivers, you got Chark, you got a bunch of rookies, you got Palmer for the Chargers. Give me Jacoby, give me Devontae Adams, give me the Raiders tight ends to make more plays. And also, we talk about home field advantage. The Chargers don't have a home field advantage. We all know this game is going to be 90 to 95% Raiders fans. They will have the home field advantage. Give me the Raiders. Pretty damn confident about this one. Earlier in the offseason, I didn't out of respect for Harbaugh. But one thing we know about Pierce, he's going to get his guys ready to roll. And if you play physical in this league, you got a puncher's chance. Next game, we're going to Monday night. We got the New York Jets at the San Francisco 49ers. Rodgers. Jets are plus 3.5 right now. I wanted this to move up, but I think the Jets can win this game outright. I would not be shocked if they do. Do I have a lot of science? No, this is more vibes football club right now. But week 1 is about vibes at a certain point. One vibe I'm getting is Aaron Rodgers is going to come back with vengeance this year. We had to wait an extra year for it, but I think Aaron Rodgers comes in whipping work. And one thing I pointed to in the spread video, yes, Steve Wilkes was a sacrificial lamb. I felt like that defense wasn't good enough the last 7-8 weeks of the year. But I also think this defense has lost a little bit of talent as the 49ers continue to pay people like Debo, Ayuk. There's only so much money to go around, and I think you can exploit this 49ers defense. It's not the top 3 unit it was for the last 4 or 5 years, and people need to move on. We're not going back to 2 years ago, and I don't like betting against the 49ers. The 49ers helped build this channel and are responsible for me not having to go work a fucking job. Like, I get it. I get the caution. That's why I said this is a little bit about vibes. This is a little bit about, I want to see what Aaron Rodgers can do. And you look at this 49ers offense. Yes, I'm sure Trent Williams and Ayuk will play. But we have to remember this Jets defensive front will come at you in waves. And I feel like the weaknesses of this 49ers offensive line is that right tackle, right guard, and left guard. And when you got Quinn Williams coming at you, that's going to be a fucking problem. And I think the Jets have the best defense in the league. I know it was ugly last year, but when you have Zach Wilson at quarterback, it's going to be ugly. Now, I don't think the Jets are going to score a lot on offense. I don't think it's going to be a storybook return for Rodgers. But I just think him and Garrett Wilson can make enough plays. Breece Hall. And one thing people are forgetting. The Jets absolutely revamped this offensive line. Elijah Vera Tucker coming back from injury. I think Breece Hall is a top 5 back in this league. I think he takes this game by the scruff of the neck. You always worry about Salah. That's why your boy's not beating the chest more. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Ravens plus 3. I think the Ravens win and cover this game. I'm not budging. I get it. I get it. Betting Chiefs games is complicated. Some of you guys have theories. I have my theories. I just know beating Pat Mahomes is tough, no matter what theory you put out there. But I do want to give a counterfactual to some of this Chiefs hype. When you lose players like L'Jarius Sneed on defense, I think that does take a little bit of a chunk out of things. And I know the Chiefs have drafted very well on defense last year. And these last 3-4 years, they've drafted well. And I don't think this defense gets enough credit. But with that being said, I think the Ravens are going to run the ball down their throat. And I think the Ravens are going to be very physical. I don't know why the Ravens got away from the run game in the AFC Championship. Yes, Chris Jones is hard to block and he's hard to move, but you have to stay with the run, and I think we see that. And do I need to mention the Ravens are a better regular season football team than postseason? And I want to float a theory. Am I the only one who thinks maybe Travis Kelce is nearing the end of his career and I think he's at the end of his prime? No, I'm not saying he's going to be bad this year or he's going to be impotent, but with Hollywood Brown out, my questions about Kelce, does Mahomes have enough to throw to? Is Andy Reid going to be just hitting play after play? Pat Mahomes throwing dime after dime. It's tough to do week one. Luckily for the Chiefs, they prepared well in the preseason, but I think this Ravens team comes in with a vendetta. And I think they have the better overall talent. And I think this is time for Lamar Jackson to do his thing. I think Lamar Jackson goes off. And I know that's not the science you want, but that's the science you're getting. Last game, Steelers at Falcons. Before you A-log me in the comments, I am throwing cold water on this. Sometimes it's not about the bets you make, it's about the bets you don't make. I know everyone, I know the hype of the internet, the hype of TV is Steelers will upset the Falcons. Not so fast, my friend. Do not bet that. I don't think you should be touching this game, whatever side you're on. But I don't know how anyone can realistically say, yes, let's put the house on the Steelers after you look at this offensive line that can't run block, that can't pass block. You look at Russell Wilson, he can't throw, he's not accurate, and he can't scramble anymore. So what can he do? Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Let's get this money. It's great to be back. Share the videos. Over-unders will be up Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern. And live call-in show, I'm working out what time we're going to do it. It's a little bit complicated due to the game on Friday night, but stay tuned to your boy. Get on Instagram. I'm on TikTok now. TikTok, Lawson NFL.